What's up? What's up? It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful summer day. The month of June is just coming to an end. And this is my compilation of all my recipe videos I've put out on YouTube for this month. Make sure you watch the whole thing and like and subscribe. I got lots of delicious recipes that you can make at home yourself. They're simple and delicious. So you know what to do. Sit back, relax, and just enjoy yourself. Here's some good barbecue. Trimming down a delicious brisket and smoking it on the pellet smoker. Overnight, a simple cook, but man, oh man, does it ever turn out delicious. What's up, what's up? It's your boy Saucy Rossi, and in this recipe video, I'm going to walk through everything I did to smoke this brisket on my Traeger Woodridge Pro. Guys, this was an overnight cook that was extremely delicious and extraordinarily simple. I had to do hardly anything. Using my pellet smoker for the first time smoking a brisket has opened my eyes to how easy it is just to smoke this thing low and slow. So let's start from the top. You guys know what to do. If you're not already liked and subscribed, hit those buttons. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. All right. I picked up this brisket from Costco. It was extremely well priced, like $68 or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the tag said, but it was not expensive at all. So what does that normally mean? It means the flat is going to be probably thin and the point is going to be really oddly shaped. And you can see here, that is oddly shaped. We're going to have to trim all this up. So the point of trimming is to make it aerodynamic so that the smoke rolls around it easily in the smoker. What does that really mean? Well, it means you got to grab yourself a knife and we're going to slice into this brisket, changing the shape. The idea here is we're really trying to round off those edges, take down the fat cap to about 1/4 inch, and slice off any large chunks of fat that are going to be too intense to actually render down. As well, there's some meat on here that's gone a little gray, nothing intense or bad, which just for presentation purposes, we're going to slice that off as well, okay? So I'm using just a long serrated knife. If you have a really nice chef's knife, I mean, that will probably work better. I only have the tools I can afford. However, they work. That's what's important to understand. You don't need a $100 knife. This was from a $30 set where I got 4 knives, I think it was. Anyway, we're just going to trim around. We're going to keep rotating, moving it around, and kind of inspecting. As you make cuts, you're going to kind of discover more spots you need to trim down. I mean, the fat cap on a brisket is huge. And like I said, we want to bring that down to about 1/4 inch. And up here on the point, this little part that goes gray here, we're going to trim that out, but we're also going to discover there's a big fat cap in there as well. Well, you could kind of already see it. It's right in front of us, but we want to slice down into that and make sure we're removing it. And guys, if you don't understand why, we're going to be smoking this low and slow, and that's going to render down all the intermuscular fat. But these large like caps of fat are just too big for a smoker to melt. Or let me rephrase that. By the time that they did melt, the rest of the meat would probably be destroyed. So that's not what we're looking to do here. Trimming it down and just making sure the meat is aerodynamic. And what does aerodynamic mean? Well, you can kind of see here, I'm rounding out the brisket, taking off all these extra chunks and just setting them to the side. Now, don't worry, I'm not wasting that meat at all. I have a meat grinder and I'm going to make some delicious hamburgers. I mean, who doesn't love ground brisket hamburgers? They are seriously delicious. You can also use that same mixture to smoke and cure sausages. So make sure you understand that that stuff is getting put to good use. Now, while you're slicing through your brisket, it's really smart to kind of like rub it down while you're going through everything. Push it around, move it around. You're going to discover a bunch more to the brisket that was hiding. That might sound weird, but just trust me on it. Now, we're going to flip it over to the presentation side and we're going to trim off some of this silver skin. What's really important here is you try not to slice downwards. I like to put a lot of tension on whatever I'm slicing off and kind of keep my knife facing upward and just slicing through. That's going to help you cleanly cut through without removing too much meat. And guys, again, you just keep flipping it, pushing it, maneuvering it, moving that fat cap around, finding where you want to make sure you're, trimming it down enough, getting it nice and clean and just delicious. Holy cow. Guys, this is looking just about ready for me. I like how this is looking. That little fat cap there, I'm probably going to bring down. Let's go one more slice through that. But overall, I think this is looking fantastic. Jeez Louise. I like this a lot. All right, here we go. I'm going to grab some seasoning. I'm using Maple Fix by Motley Q. This dry rub is pretty delicious. I'm Canadian. I love the flavor maple. Like, what do you want me to say? This is exactly up my alley. So I'm liberally seasoning this beef brisket. And I know we always talk about dry rubs, but I want to be very clear. We are petting it in. We are not rubbing in the dry rub. That's really important. See? Petting. Super important for applying your dry rub. As well, I'm using this Drip Easy container. It really kind of like keeps all the seasoning together, like really makes it so I don't make a mess. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just recommending you check them out. It really is nice. I like this. This is like one of those few barbecue purchases that when I bought it, I was blown away. It's like a cutting board on the bottom as well. So you have to make any additional cuts, you can do it right on there. Anyway, guys, all right, check it out. This brisket is seasoned beautifully. So I'm going to put it in the fridge for about 4 hours to rest and really kind of like soak up that seasoning. And as you can see here, I'd say it was about 3 to 4 hours total. Man, that dry rub is tacked on beautifully. Looking seriously spectacular. Guys, check it out. It's about 10 p.m. and I set my Traeger Woodridge Pro to 210 degrees, I think is what I had it at. Yeah, 210. And that was just to run overnight low and slow, starting that rendering down. And you can see the next morning at about 7 a.m., we've developed bark. It is just leaking juices. And it's a good idea at this point to kind of like come in and give it a quick spritz just towards the flat, just because we haven't been spritzing it overnight. I've been sleeping, just letting my Traeger do its thing. And guys, it's definitely worthwhile to hit it with a little apple cider vinegar in the drier parts here. But you can see it is just dripping juice down into that pan below. I also have some trimmed tallow down in there to render off. We're going to use that here shortly when we wrap. But guys, this is looking fantastic. Rendering down those juices, just forming that bark. I'm really excited about how it's looking. Really excited to see this in action. So let's go ahead. It hit about 175 internal, so I pulled it off to wrap. What does that mean? 2 sheets of butcher paper put down. I put down the brisket, and then I pour that tallow all over it. Not all of the tallow. I'm going to use a little bit more in just a moment, but I take it and I start wrapping everything together. It's important you get a nice tight wrap. This is one part of barbecue I definitely need to improve on, is wrapping my briskets. But guys, this is more than okay. This looks great. We're going to put it onto the Traeger, and then we're going to take a little more of that juice and just pour it directly into the butcher paper and just let that thing soak up. And again, if you can tuck in any corners or anything, that's great. We really want that. Keeping it on the smoker, I bumped it up to about 250 degrees, 275 at this point. Anywhere in that range is perfectly fine. Honestly, you can go up to 300 if you are in a rush, but I kept it down 250, 275. So once it was probe tender, once it was delicious, once it was just smelling glorious, I pulled that off, pulled it out of the butcher paper, and I sliced it up. And as you can see here, this beef brisket is smoked beautifully, juicy, tender, and delicious. We got a nice little bark on there. The smoke ring is looking glorious as well. I mean, considering this was an overnight smoke on the Traeger, simple and easy, delicious, and just heck yeah, fantastic. I don't really know what to even call it. Like, guys, this was wicked. Look how juicy that is. All of this was just melt in your mouth, tender and delicious. Look, if you like barbecue, you gotta try a brisket. Doesn't this burnt end just look spectacular? I really hope this guide helps you in that experience. Brisket is such a great cut of meat to smoke low and slow. Like, seriously, it's a great experience. And guys, like, I'm not exaggerating. I can't get enough of this cook. So simple on the Traeger. Set it and forget it overnight. I got to sleep the first 7 or 8 hours of this cook. I mean, yeah, that's a win. That's a win in my book, 1000%. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're liked and subscribed. My name is Saucy Rossi. I'm the Canadian King of Backyard Barbecue. Don't be afraid to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Comment below what you thought was the best part of this cook, or what you think I should have done differently. I always love feedback. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and enjoy some delicious barbecue, would ya? In this video, I'm going to tell you about one of the best steaks I ever cooked. And believe it or not, brandy barrel wood chunks were the reason it was so flavorful. My charcoal grill did an amazing job cooking this steak. Seriously, this actually might have been the best steak I've ever cooked. Look at that. It's beautiful. I prefer my steaks medium rare, closer to the rare side, but I served it up with some chimichurri, and man, oh man, this was amazing. From the butcher I sourced it from to the actual toppings like the seasoning and that chimichurri. Let's go through everything. You know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian King of Backyard Barbecue. So this is a Denver steak. I sourced it from my local butcher Vessel Meats, and it's grass-fed Nova Scotian beef. And I hit it with Buddy with Steak Spice. This is a seasoning by Jimmy Lee Stokes and the Barbecue Emporium, based out of Newfoundland. I really like Atlantic Canadian products. Oh, buddy. So I fired up the charcoal grill by Napoleon. Now, I saw that Napoleon had these brandy barrel chunks, and I instantly wanted to cook with them. I thought this would be an awesome way to try them out. And as you can see here, they're these little hunks, very small, very, very, very small. Perfect to just sit on the grate on a charcoal grill right above the coal bed. So I actually have a bunch of Kingsford charcoal in there. It's rip-roaring hot. And yeah, it's just, sitting right above the coals and like smoldering as the steak cooks. So I'm cooking this with the lid open to begin. That's just so I can watch the steak. I'm going to sear it off, then move it over onto indirect heat to finish off and come up to temperature. As you can see here, it's looking beautiful. I decided to flip it after about 75 seconds. And you can see there, I got some beautiful char. It's a little more charred on one end, but it's really not the end of the world. Oh, buddy. I can't wait to show you this. So as you can see there, we're getting a little bit of smoke off of that brandy barrel chunk. And when I have the lid closed for a few moments, you can see the cloud, the plume that's actually coming off of it. As I'm cooking this steak there, that brandy barrel wood chunk is just pouring off flavor. So the idea is we want to keep that lid closed and just let it circulate over the beef. Now, the brandy barrel wood chunk also said that it worked with pork. I'm really excited to try it with ribs, but steaks is absolutely delicious. So I'm just going to kind of monitor this. So at this point, I'm letting that smoke bellow off of the brandy barrel wood chunk, and I'm just trying to keep that lid closed. Obviously, for filming reasons, I have to lift it and show you. But what I'm mainly doing here, guys, is checking it with a meat thermometer. Now, personally, I like my steaks more on the rare side, but I do like a medium rare steak. So I like to pull mine between 128 and 132 degrees internal. And that's basically where you're going to nail that rare, medium rare point. Okay. So I rest it for maybe 5 minutes. You can go up to 10, but it's not the biggest steak, so it will cool off quick. And man, oh man, look at that beautiful pink interior. The crust was fantastic as well. Unbelievable. The flavor on this steak was everything I'm looking for when I eat beef. Juicy, tender, and delicious. Now, here's what I really, really, really want to push, okay? You should try chimichurri. If you've never had chimichurri before, you can make it yourself with all fresh ingredients, but you can also find just really simple mixtures that are pre-made, and you can just whip them up and just put it right down on the steak, and it's gorgeous. We'll talk about that in just a split second. So look at this steak. Okay, 132 degrees is when I pulled it off. I rested it. It hit about 136 internal before I sliced into it. Guys, good crust, delicious seasoning, cooked through properly. If you don't have a barbecue, like I'm using a charcoal grill, you can just use a frying pan and then your oven to do the same kind of cooking. It's super basic. And if you want more information on all this, make sure you're like and subscribe. Anyway, here's that chimichurri I was telling you about. So I used a pre-made chimichurri. So I'm going to take, yes, by chimichurri, I'm going to take red wine vinegar, and I'm going to take some olive oil, and I'm going to mix one part of each together. I'm going to start by mixing the chimichurri mixture along with the red wine vinegar and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes and rehydrate. Then I'm going to come back and add in that oil, give it a quick stir, and just put it down on that steak. And talk about delicious. Layering flavors, guys. That brandy barrel chunk, the charcoal grill, the steak seasoning, that's all beautiful. That crust we built on there over that charcoal, 10 out of 10. Then we let it rest. We added this chimichurri, and guys, it ended up being spectacular. This is so far the best steak I think I've ever cooked. It is unbelievable. I've cooked a lot of steak, and if you like and subscribe to my channel, you can check out my Steak School series. It's an entire playlist going through all kinds of different friggin' delicious steak cuts and whatnot. You're going to love it. Anyway, I hope you guys try this. A Denver steak, charcoal grilled. Hopefully you try those brandy barrel wood chunks. Those were cool. And then finish with chimichurri. Thanks again for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, and I hope you have a great day. Enjoy some good food and some barbecue. In this video, I'm going to walk through everything you need to know for grilling chicken thighs on a charcoal grill. Guys, these came out absolutely scrumptious and delicious. These chicken thighs were literally phenomenal. I am thrilled with the result here. You know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. So make sure you like and subscribe. Comment below how much you love chicken thighs. If you think this recipe is worthwhile trying, all that stuff. Let's start from the top. I mean, look at those chicken thighs. They look glorious. We're going to start with just a simple pack, and we're going to pull back the skin on each of these thighs. Just loosen them up. We're not fully removing the skin. We're just loosening it and pulling it back. I'm using Heavy Hands Hank Sweet Rub. This is absolutely delicious. This rub is just fantastic on pork and chicken. So I threw it onto these chicken thighs, liberally seasoning above and below the chicken skin, making sure to flip back over that skin once I've seasoned it, and season the bottom of these chicken thighs as well. We really want these chicken thighs to be fully seasoned. That's super important here, guys. Make sure you're fully coating them. Next, I'm going to fire up the charcoal grill, specifically my Napoleon charcoal grill, because I love that cast iron grill grate. And I'm going to use a 2-zone cooking method. I got a bunch of charcoal directly underneath these chickens, skin side down, and we're just going to watch them. That flame is going to start kicking up because there's lots of fat inside of that skin. So once you're just monitoring them and you're seeing them get some good char on there, that's when we're just going to keep an eye on them and move them around. You want to kind of let them sit above the flame. I know I'm not giving you the best view right here, but you want to kind of like, that's what you're looking for right here, is that skin starting to crisp up and just get, cooked through. But it's really important you don't leave the skin sitting there in a flame for more than like 30 or 45 seconds. That can really overdo it. So again, you want to make sure you're moving these pieces of chicken around and just fully cooking that skin, because we're going to move it over onto indirect heat. As you can see here, I'm moving these chicken thighs, once the skin is good, over onto the other side of the grill. And that's just going to let them slowly come up to the right temperature, since we've already cooked through that skin and got it nice and crispy, okay? So as you can see here, we just set it over there on the side, away from the coals at this point, and you just close down that lid. We're going to let it rock. Okay, so it's going to be up around 450, 500 degrees. And it's just important that you're regularly checking these chicken thighs, making sure they're not getting overdone. If you have a meat thermometer, the target temperature we're aiming for today is 185, 190 internal. Now I know chicken is done at 165, but where these thighs are dark meat, they are prime for getting nice and overcooked, and they become just juicy, tender, and delicious. Holy cow, guys. It's important, though, that you don't overdo it because it can become dry. But again, dark meat on a chicken is extra juicy, so you can push it just a little bit further. That's why I like going close to 190 degrees. I know some guys that go as high as 204, and it's just so tender and delicious. It falls right off the bone if it's a drumstick. Holy cow. All right, so we hit about 165 internal, and now we're just in that final phase. That's when I tack on my favorite barbecue sauce. And this can be any sauce that you enjoy that goes well with chicken. It's really not that complicated, guys. Just make sure you layer it on in good, thin layers. When you glob on barbecue sauce, it can become like a tacky mess. I always suggest people go on with 1, 2, or even 3 layers of just delicious barbecue sauce, and that can make all the difference. The thinner the layers, the better, in my opinion, when you're still kind of baking it on. Anyway, all right, so we're going to let this sit for just a few minutes, and then we're going to pull it off, because guys, this was absolutely delicious. I mean, you saw these earlier. They're looking absolutely scrumptious now that they're fully cooked. And you can plate these up with a nice side salad, maybe some potato French fries, anything really. I mean, who doesn't love a delicious chicken thigh? I really like the idea of grilling the chicken skin at the very beginning. It gets that crispy skin that I really enjoy. I love chicken skin. I think it's one of the best things there is to eat. I know it's not the most healthy for you. It's definitely fatty, but my golly, is it ever flavorful. Anyway, these chicken thighs grilled on my Napoleon charcoal grill came out monumental. I'm really excited with how good these were. I mean, each and every other cook, I seem to be honing my skills a little bit better. And that's what's important. Just, knowing your craft. Doing your best to cook your best food. That's what I love, guys. Good food, good eats, and I can show you how to do it yourself too. I mean, if you have a charcoal grill at home and you're nervous to cook chicken thighs, then this recipe walkthrough is all you gotta try. It's really not that complex, guys. Patience is key with barbecue. Paying attention to your meats, making sure you're not overdoing it, and just monitoring stuff. It's that simple. And bud, just look at this. Doesn't that look absolutely delicious? My mouth is salivating while doing this voiceover. It's kind of difficult to continue talking, but I'll get this. Anyway, guys, really means a lot to me that you're still here watching my videos. Seriously, I thank you, and I can't thank you enough. Holy cow. I mean, every time I'm making these videos, I'm always just so pumped and excited to show you what I've been eating. And a nice little healthy rice bowl with these chicken thighs was the perfect little dinner to fill my belly. Man, oh man, this has been a blast. Thanks again for watching. It really means a lot. I hope you're having a great day. Make sure you take care, stay safe, and come back soon. Welcome back to Steak School. What's up? It's your boy Saucy Rossy, and today we're going to talk about the hanger steak. There's only one of these on the entire cow. It supports the diaphragm, and boy, oh boy, Is it ever juicy, tender, and delicious if cooked properly? And today, I'm going to simply pan sear it with a little bit of seasoning and some garlic. But you guys know what's up. Hit those buttons, like and subscribe, join my community of home cooks, and let me know in the comments below if you've ever tried a hanger steak before. So, I'm using Buddy with the steak spice. This stuff is perfect to season up your steak, and I really enjoy it. Okay, let's go ahead, season it liberally. Get every nook and cranny covered. That's really important. Then I'm going to just let this sit at room temperature from anywhere from 30 minutes up to about 2 hours. I don't really recommend going too much further than that, though. Where it is a small steak, that seasoning can penetrate really deep and kind of over season it. And again, if you just want to use salt or pepper, that's fine as well. So I'm using my pan by the Rock cookware. I trust this with pan searing, and I'm just going to set it and forget it. Let it run for a couple of minutes, maybe 2 minutes or so, before I give it its first flip. Trying to build a little bit of bark and a crust. And by moving it around, you're not going to let that happen. So be patient and just wait. That's what's important. And as you can see here, I'm building a good little crust. That looks fantastic. It's also really important too that you are moving this steak around and rotating it every once in a while. I know I did say leave it be, but you do also need to move it. So after you move it, then you just got to leave it be, but then move it again and leave it be, then move it again. Anyway, go in with a little bit of butter once you got a nice crust on the outside, and we're going to start just basting this steak. As you can see there, I've got a little bit of garlic as well, just diced up. Not finely diced, just large chunks of garlic sitting right in that butter. It's going to add additional flavor. And man, oh man, just after a few minutes of consistent basting, you're really going to bring that internal temperature up. And right now, I'm looking for about 125 to 132. If I pull it off during that, holy cow, it's going to be unbelievable. That's my perfect target range for medium rare, and we just hit it. So I'm going to pull this off and rest it for about 5 minutes, let those juices redistribute, then check it out. We got that nice little crust on the outside. It's looking fantastic. Let's slice into this and see how we did. And I know I already showed it to you at the beginning. I nailed that delicious little medium rare. So this ended up hitting 132 degrees. I pulled it off to rest. It rested for 5 minutes, bringing it up about another 5 degrees internal. And it ended up being about, 138 or so. And it was absolutely delicious. Talk about tender, little, juicy, beefy bites. Straight out of that hanger steak. I'm telling you, if you've never had the hanger steak, they call it the butcher's cut, you got to give it a shot. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you're still here, it really means a lot. Please go ahead and like and subscribe and comment below if you love steak. I just can't get enough, man. Thanks again for watching. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and have a great day. In this recipe video, I'm going to smoke a pork shoulder low and slow on my Traeger Woodridge Pro. We're going to make some unbelievable pulled pork, and then we're going to make it into a little rice bowl. Super delicious, lots of barbecue, lots of flavor. Guys, you know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossy, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Let's start from the beginning. So, this is my pulled pork rice bowl. How do I make it? Well, I start off with a pork shoulder and a little bit of hot sauce. I'm using jalapeno apple hot sauce by Maritime Madness today. And I'm just using this as a binder. Now, a lot of people say you can't taste the binder. Depending on the heat of the hot sauce, sometimes you can. So just be cautious of that. This is definitely a light end hot sauce. It's not going to burn those taste buds off. So the reality here is this is just going to help us form a really good bark. And to do that, we're using Louisiana Cajun Dry Rub and Mighty Mesquite Dry Rub, both by Maritime Madness. And we're going to liberally season this pork shoulder. We want every nook and cranny completely covered. And just knock on that shaker. If it's not coming out fast enough, we really want to make sure we're getting a lot of seasoning on this, okay? Now, it's a dry rub, but you do not rub it in. I always try my best to make sure that's very clear. You want to pet in any seasoning, not rub it in. I know it sounds counterintuitive because of the name, but you just got to trust me on this one. All right. So we're going to liberally season this pork shoulder. Like I said, every nook and cranny, all shapes, all sides, every little piece. Then we're going to throw it out onto the pellet smoker. So I'm using my Traeger Woodridge Pro today. I'm using maple pellets. You can also use any kind of pellet you really want that goes good with pork, like apple, maple, we got oak. The list goes on, right? You can use peach. Like any fruit or nut wood really goes good with pork, in my opinion. And we're running this low and slow. So I have it at 225 degrees to try and just get all that intermuscular fat rendered down. But you can technically cook this anywhere between 225 and 300 degrees. You know, the lower the temperature, the longer it will take, but you will get beautiful results, rendering down all that intermuscular fat, and that bark will turn out just so delicious and scrumptious. You can see here it's definitely starting to look umptuous. I'm really excited about this. Guys, man, oh man, this pulled pork bowl tantalizes my taste buds every time. So it's all about patience here. This is about a 7 or 8 hour wait just to get this fully cooked through. You know, sometimes it can even go to 9 or 10 hours, depending on the size of the pork shoulder as well. I always recommend you give it a little bit of a rest just to continue rendering down those intermuscular fats. It really, really helps out here. So as we're cooking it on the pellet smoker, we're going to be monitoring the temperature, just using a little meat thermometer. And once you see it hit about 165, 170 internal, I like to pull it off, throw it into a tinfoil tray with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, a couple knobs of butter, and then a delicious barbecue sauce. And today I'm using Super Sauce by Maritime Madness. I think this sauce goes beautifully on pork. Oh, it's so delicious. Then I hit it with just a little more apple cider vinegar and I give it a quick wrap. Now, one thing that's very important is if you're using a thermometer like I am right there, you want to just kind of like let the tin foil be open near the thermometer. That's super, super important, okay? Now, we're going to bring it up to 203 internal, then we're going to let it rest. And this is it resting, or after being rested, I should say, for about an hour to 2 hours. You could just see that simple squeeze of the hand. This just melts apart perfectly. Guys, this is the perfect kind of snack that you can just devour while you're watching the World Cup. And man, oh man, is it ever delicious. And like I was saying, this is one of those things that like patience is key. Really not rushing this, letting all that intermuscular fat break down is the best decision you can have here. And you end up with juicy, tender, shredded to oblivion pulled pork that's just so delicious and flavorful. And like I always say, the best way to eat it, right on a rice bowl with a little bit of veggies, hit with some jalapenos, a little bit more of that barbecue sauce. Guys, this one seriously tantalized my taste buds. I loved everything about this. And if you're still here right now, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you think this would be a nice little dinner. And if you're going to make this yourself, well, please take a picture, tag me on social media. I would love to see how it turned out. Thanks so much again for watching. I'm always having such a good time making these delicious little recipe videos. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. You know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossi. Take care, stay safe, and until next time. What's up? Welcome to my video about how to grill chicken wings on a charcoal grill. And the many different ways you can add little subtle hints of flavor to make some of the most delicious chicken wings you're ever going to devour. I mean, check these out with the perfect amount of char. Oh yeah, sauced beautifully. These were a 10 out of 10. And you can see right there, that looks absolutely scrumptious. Try and tell me you're not going to be thrilled with these chicken wings. You know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossi. Make sure you like and subscribe. So, I'm using Sassy Chicken by Royal Nova Company, based out of Quispam, New Brunswick, and I'm liberally seasoning these chicken wings. Give them the first coat, move them around a little bit, and then go in with another quick layer. Then wang jangle them all over the place in your bowl. We just want to make sure everything is absolutely covered. As you can see here, this chicken wing has seasoning all over. It's looking fantastic. So we fire up the charcoal grill, and I have all of the charcoal centered in the grill. I have what's called a cyclone attachment. It's a little ring that all the charcoal can get poured into. And by setting it in the very middle, you can put all your chicken wings around the edge, and it really helps just circulate and move all that charcoal around beautifully. Now you can see there, I have a little hunk of wood. It's a brandy barrel wood chunk by Napoleon. I used a piece of this wood on my steak the other day, and it just had this beautiful sweetness that I thought would go beautifully with poultry. So with these chicken wings, I thought it just made sense. I mean, what else do I really need to say? So you're grilling on a charcoal grill. It's important to rotate the chicken wings. They're going to get cooked real fast because of that high heat. I have my grill at about 600 degrees or so right now, maybe 500, 550. But at the highest point, it was hitting 600. It's just important to watch and pay attention. It only takes about 20 minutes, 25 minutes max. And that's with me lifting the lid. So if you're not lifting the lid, it should be closer to like 15. But what you got to do is just be patient and make sure you're moving the chicken that's close to the center out towards the outside whenever you go to like flip it. That's really important. That's what I do anyway. And it helps me kind of take the ones that are getting a little too much char and exchange them with the ones that are not getting enough. And everything just basically works out. I mean, look at these chicken wings. Don't these look diabolically delicious? Seriously scrumptious, guys. I'm stoked on this. This looks absolutely like a 10 out of 10 right now. Oh yeah, look at that grill. That's what I'm talking about, man. All right. So you're using the charcoal grill. You have a little piece of wood on there for that smoky flavor. We got some char. Everything's looking fantastic. Now it's all about adding a sauce. I'm using Sweet with a Little Heat by the Royal Nova Company. Again, out of Quispamsis, New Brunswick. And guys, holy cow. Pour just a little bit on top and give it the old wang jangle. By moving it all around like this, we're going to evenly coat and distribute that barbecue sauce, and it's going to be absolutely spectacular. I mean, just take a quick peek. Doesn't this look banging? I'm thrilled with how these turned out. You want to talk about scrumptious? Dude, these were out of control. From that smoky flavor and that beautiful char to the barbecue seasoning we used and that sauce just to top it all off. Talk about a 10 out of 10. When it comes to barbecue, I like simplicity. I like things that taste good and are easy to make. Sure, you can go make a bunch of crazy sauces, all kinds of dips, all kinds of everything. But when it comes down to it, if you got a chicken wing that just tastes good, that's what I'm stoked about. Anyway, thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you're here enjoying yourself. And if you are, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm always dropping these recipe videos that are simple, easy, delicious, and fun. Right? You know what it is. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Thanks again for watching. Take care, stay safe, and have a great day. Beef back ribs. In this recipe video, I'm going to show you how to simply smoke them low and slow. It's not going to be difficult. You can do this yourself. This is just a small rack of beef back ribs I picked up for about $12 at my local grocery store, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend you give this recipe a try. Make sure you like and subscribe. You know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. So look at this beautiful piece of meat. This rib, back rib specifically, beef, was fantastic. It was only $12. So I brought it home and I hit it with some Tim Reeder steak spice. This barbecue seasoning, bone dust, is just perfect with that thick, coarse ground particles of
just multiple things in there. There's, from what I can tell, pepper, garlic, onion, and just a number of other spices. It's absolutely beautiful, guys. Salt as well. And that's just going to get petted right in there. I'm going to do my best to make sure that I get as much of those coarse pieces of ground seasoning pushed right into that piece of beef. And as you can see there, it's good. I'm going to let that rest for about 30 minutes to an hour. You can let it go up to about 3 hours if you'd like. If you want to push it further than that, I'd be cautious because you can kind of overdo it depending on how much salt you use. Anyway, so let's go back to actually cooking this. I'm running it on my Traeger Woodridge Pro, smoking it low and slow at 225 degrees. That's all you need, guys. We're just going to let this thing ride along, plain and simple. And as you can see there, just underneath that top layer, there's that beautiful mahogany color starting to develop, and it's looking gorgeous. That's what we're really looking for at this point. We want to start spritzing with apple cider vinegar just to make sure we keep that exterior nice and moist, but it's all patience from here. Developing bark, which is really just continuously spritzing it with apple cider vinegar every 30 to 45 minutes or so, and just making sure everything is just well, cleanly, flowing from the clean blue smoke to just, making sure it's moist on the exterior with whatever you're going to spritz it with. That's all that matters, guys. Keep that temp serious and just locked in. Now, check out this view right here. This is what you're looking for. That bark, we want it so if you touch it, it doesn't rub off. We want that beautiful mahogany color underneath. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in 2 layers of tin foil. The way I like to do it is kind of like foil boat, the bottom layer. We are going to pour in some beef broth here in a moment, just mixed with a little bit of butter. And guys, we're just going to let that kind of braise. Now the top piece of, or I should say the exterior piece of tin foil, we're going to kind of fold in over top and let it just kind of sit and rest. Now we're going to let it ride like that for about 35, 40 minutes. Then you can just open it up and you will see it's just looking gorgeous. Nice, moist, juicy, and tender. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. You can see those juices sitting underneath. It's exactly what I wanted, guys. All right, so let's go ahead, pull this off, and take a little bit closer of a look. And as you can see here, it's looking pretty slick. Those nice coarse grains of, the seasoning there are just littered all over. You can see little bits of garlic I can see there, some pepper, oh man, there's just so much deliciousness here. And these were so good. So I slice into them, straightforward. I'm just splitting them up into individual portions. And guys, just seriously, a 10 out of 10. This took about 5 hours total for such a delicious bite of barbecue. I think it's totally worth it. I mean, that bark is looking magnificent. We got a little bit of a delicious smoke ring surrounding the entire exterior. Overall, this looks absolutely fantastic and what I'm aiming for when I do barbecue. And I hope this helps you. Let me know in the comments below if you think this is delicious. Like I said before, make sure you're liked and subscribed. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. You know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossy, always having a great time on the barbecue. Thanks again for watching. It always means so much to me. I hope you're having a great day. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see each other soon.
Beef brisket smoked low and slow is one of those things people always show off huge briskets. But in this video, I want to show you that you can buy a very small piece of brisket and still smoke it deliciously low and slow. Doesn't that look juicy, tender, and delicious? Guys, this one is a must try. It's extremely affordable and it's absolutely delicious. So go ahead, hit those buttons, like and subscribe. It's your boy Saucy Rossy. You guys know what's up. I picked up this delicious piece of brisket. It's a flat that kind of goes into the beginning of the point, and I got it from my local butcher. I went in just before they were closing on the weekend, and this was all they had left of brisket. And I thought to myself, I never see videos of people using just a small piece of brisket. So I bought it. And today I'm using Prairie Smoke and Spice maple candy and all-purpose dry rub. I'm going to liberally season all sides of this piece of brisket. It's really important here. You guys will always hear me say this. Getting every nook and cranny of your piece of meat is really important. So I throw down a little bit of butcher paper and I just go at it with both those seasonings. As you can see here, it's looking fantastic, ready to go out on the smoker. Now today, I'm running my Traeger Woodridge Pro at 225 degrees. We're going to start off the cook there. And we're just going to run this for about 3 to 4 hours, low and slow. What we're going to do during this time is lightly spritz it with some apple cider vinegar. You can also use beer, you can use orange juice, you can use water. There's a number of different items you can use to spritz the meat while it sits on the smoker. It's up to you. I prefer apple cider vinegar. Now, we're just going to patiently watch it over the first 4 hours. And once the bark is starting to set just like this, that's when we're going to start hitting it with those apple cider vinegar spritzes. That's really important here, guys. You don't want to spritz too early because it can kind of mess up your bark. So as you can see here, we're just rendering down that intermuscular fat. It's just starting to look a little bit juicy. You can see that, those fat layers starting to render down. You can see a little bit of drippings down in the tinfoil I have laid out below. This is looking spectacular. Patience is key here. We're looking to bring it up to an internal temperature of about 170 degrees. That's roughly where I think the right time to wrap your beef brisket is. Now, some people go 165, some people go all the way up to 180. I like to kind of land it around 170, 175. That's when I usually get my best results. But if you find you get different results using different times there, then I'm not going to stop you. Try whatever you feel comfortable with. So, as we're smoking this low and slow, you'll notice that there's a little more pooling on the top. That rendered side fat is just looking like it's just starting to kind of, render away. That's when we're going to start getting ready to wrap this. Now, I'm going to wrap it in 2 layers of tinfoil, and I'm going to put some butter in there. Now, if you have some of that beef tallow that you may have sliced off your brisket while trimming, feel free to render that down and use that instead of butter or margarine. But butter or margarine is going to work perfectly fine here, guys. I know it's not the perfect solution. Beef tallow would be better, but who cares? It's still absolutely delicious. As you can see here, we're pretty much at the 4.5, 5 hour mark at this point. We just hit 170 degrees internal. So I'm going to wrap it and we're going to bring it up to 200 degrees, or basically when it becomes probe tender. And then at that point, I'm going to move it into my cooler. I'm going to let it just warm rest. I poured a bunch of boiling hot water into my cooler. I also put a couple of warm towels right into my cooler. And as you can see there, I pull it off in a metal tray, wrap it in some more tinfoil, and throw it into my cooler that's already hot and ready to go. It's important that your cooler is warm because you don't want the heat to be drawn out of the meat to warm up the cooler. So, as you can see here, this is looking juicy and delicious. Let's go ahead, slice into this, and take a quick look at the smoke ring, the rendered down intermuscular fat, and everything else to do with this. As you can see here, it definitely is a thin piece of brisket, but I got about 7, 8, or 9 slices out of this, and they all were fantastic with a well-defined smoke ring. Some of them had that juicy intermuscular fat rendered down. Yeah, look at that. Doesn't that look spectacular? Oh, buddy, talk about delicious. This is what I want when I eat brisket. And guys, this is proof you don't need to buy the entire brisket. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I just love barbecue, and I know you do too. So let's become good buddies. Take care, stay safe, and until next time. This is like a foolproof way to grill charcoal grilled chicken drumsticks.
It's diabolically delicious. It's going to tantalize those taste buds, and it's going to be super straightforward. Oh man, make sure you like and subscribe. It's your boy, Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Oh, dude, this is such a simple way to cook chicken drumsticks. Let's start from the beginning. I'm using a charcoal grill. I'm using sugar maple charcoal. That's real important here. I love the flavor of sugar maple charcoal. But specifically, what is important is that you're using lump charcoal. Now, if you want to kick it up with some extra flavor, throw in some whiskey barrel chunks, or really any chunk of wood that you want, right into that coal bed. It's going to act like an extra layer of flavor by layering in delicious smoke. It's just going to burn off and be unbelievable. Next, you're going to use a chicken dry rub. I'm using Ted Reader's Bone Dust. This stuff is fantastic on poultry, but any dry rub you want is going to work perfectly fine here. Now, I fired up that charcoal grill. It is hot and roaring, and I'm going to use 2-zone cooking. I got one spot right in the center that's hot, and then indirect heat right around the edges. Now, you probably noticed I'm using a cylindrical tool to hold my charcoal. That's really going to make it so that it violently rotates all that hot air inside the charcoal grill, making these chicken drumsticks perfect. Next, I'm using Ted Reader barbecue sauce. You can use any dry rub and barbecue sauce you want in this recipe. I cannot emphasize that enough. Just try and make sure it goes good with chicken. That's most very definitely important. But outside that, you can use whatever you want. And all we're going to do is we're going to tack it on. Now, it's hot and fast. This only takes about 30 or 40 minutes total on the barbecue. And I usually tack on this barbecue sauce in the last 5 minutes or so. It's really not that complex, guys. All we do, we season it, set the drumsticks to the side, make sure we get the grill rip-roaring hot with high heat. Then you put them out only with the dry rub. You let them go for about 25-30 minutes. Once they hit 165, 170 degrees internal, that's when we start hitting them with some barbecue sauce. You don't want to put way too much. You want them to be nice and sticky icky and absolutely delicious. But you can't overdo it with too much barbecue sauce, so just be cautious about that. Anyway, these drumsticks came out immaculate. Let's go in for a little bit closer of a look. Now, when I'm going for a chicken drumstick, I want it to be nice, juicy, tender, and delicious. If you got that barbecue sauce tacked on there beautifully as well, hey, that is a win. And talk about diabolically unbelievable. My taste buds were tantalized with every single bite here. Dude, these were incredible. And I hope you try this recipe out because it is so beginner friendly. Let me know in the comments below if you do. Like I said before, make sure you like and subscribe. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Oh, dude, I hope you enjoy this one. Take care, stay safe, and until next time.
What's up? What's up? It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and I just finished competing in a local KCBS barbecue competition in Truro, Nova Scotia. I got just a couple quick little videos highlighting my setup. As you can see here, I have my Traeger Woodridge Pro along with my R&R custom-built offset smoker. I'm pretty pumped that I was able to cook with both of these. And guys, I'm going to walk through everything. I'm going to show off a couple of cool smokers that were at the competition. Let's kind of go over everything. You know what to do. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. As you can see here, people are set up and ready to go. The first offset smoker I want to show off is by Back 40 Company. My buddy Alex built this custom made. Oh man, this right here is such a gorgeous offset smoker built directly onto that trailer. It can hitch right onto his truck with that chimney that can bend down for easy highway driving, that double insulated firebox. This offset smoker is glorious, and I really like that purple paint job. I think it just looks absolutely slick. I'll walk by on the back. You'll kind of see his venting and just how it's configured. And man, oh man, do I ever think this is a cool offset smoker. Seriously slick. And you can see there, he's even got a little compartment for wood. Now, if you want to kick it up a notch from something like this to a real huge offset smoker, well, check out the Meat Missile. by R&R Smokers. This is just serious. It comes with a roof on it. It folds down for driving on the highway, but you can fold it out to make sure that if it's raining, you're completely covered. That huge Canadian flag is flying up top. Guys, I think this thing is sick. Like, I would love to have my hands on one of these one day. And even still, these little drum smokers right in front of her. But again, too cool for school. But overall, it's these offset smokers that always have me revved up and ready to go. Man, oh man. So, like I said, this is a KCBS event, which means I'm submitting brisket, ribs, pork shoulder, and chicken. And guys, oh, I was pumped about my brisket and ribs, but I'm kind of disappointed with my chicken and my pork shoulder. And we'll talk about that here in a split second. Let's get one last look at this awesome offset smoker. Man, oh man, that thing is wicked. By the way, I also got my first look at a big green egg. I've never really had the opportunity to cook on one of those, but one of the teams there, they showed me one of the little cookouts that they were doing. They had a bunch of little pig shots ready to go, bacon wrapped sausages topped with a jalapeno and filled with cream cheese along with barbecue seasoning. Dude, seriously cool. I also got to check out the new Napoleon Rogue, their griddle top. My buddy Joey, the Napoleon rep, was there. We hung out for a little bit, got to shoot the shit for a bit and just chill, man. It was a good time. Everything about it was fun. Man, I just had a blast. And then night came. We had to kick it into high gear. The clouds rolled in. Man, I'm telling you right now, that rain picked up in the middle of the night. It was kind of wild, but we got things kicking off with the offset smoker. I started smoking my brisket overnight on that bad boy. Then I moved it over onto the Traeger just to finish it off even easier. But the next day, threw some ribs back on that smoker, got it lit back up, and man, oh man, check this out. Delicious smoked ribs. I mean, you can't complain about that. I won 5th place overall, out of 15 for this. And dude, I'm stoked. So let's actually take a look at my food. So first off, my chicken, it looked really good, but I put the wrong seasoning on it. It was like the middle of the night when I went ahead and got things ready. Actually, no, for my chicken, it was like 7 a.m. when I was dressing that up. But either way, I put my pork rib seasoning on it. So didn't do as well as I probably could have. But hey, you can just take a peek at that and you knew it looked good. Now, these ribs, I'm thrilled about. 5th out of 15. Like I was saying, super cool, super slick, my own seasoning and my own barbecue sauce. Now for my pork shoulder, I ended up also doing not the best because I only had a little bit of money muscle that was worthwhile submitting. My actual pulled pork that I was going to put with it didn't really turn out the best. So this is all I submitted. Not the happiest with that outcome, but guys, I mean, come on, it was still absolutely delicious. I ate every last little bit of it. And my brisket. Super pumped about this. 5th out of 15. And guys, these are all personal bests for me. So it's still a win at the end of the day. I'm really happy that I took the time to go and compete in this contest. This competition really just keeps adding to my skill set. Plus, I also had the chance to speak with Rob Reinhart and Motley Q. They both gave me great advice, just got me pumped up about barbecue. And overall, that's what I'm thrilled about. Anyway, guys, you know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossi. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and TikTok. Like and subscribe here on YouTube. Comment below if you love competition barbecue, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Stay safe. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. I bought a Traeger Woodridge Pro about 3 months ago. I've been really happy with that purchase. This video is a full review of all the cooks I've done on it so far, and to really drive home that point of how much I've been enjoying this grill. I am not sponsored. This is not an ad. This is me just loving barbecue and trying to show you guys my new grill and how much I'm enjoying it. So sit back, relax, kick your feet up. I'm going to go through everything from how it loads in pellets to the delicious food it cooks. That's what's up. All right, let me explain my thoughts and feelings on this grill while you look at some delicious food I've been cooking on it over the last couple of months. And let me start also by saying make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Holy cow. So I picked up a Traeger Woodridge Pro. I'm normally a stick burner kind of guy. I have a 250-gallon offset smoker. And, I never really thought I'd be so interested in upgrading a pellet grill. But I talked to Matty McGrills. If you don't follow him, you should follow him on Instagram. But he's out of Vintage Stove and Fireplace in Truro, Nova Scotia. And, we were just chit-chatting about it. I had a pellet grill, but it was a tailgating size pellet grill. And we really were talking about how much capacity changes your game with barbecue. I mean, actually, it kind of does line up right here. Check it out. I got 4 pork shoulders and a beef brisket on the Traeger. And right here, that's 11, no, it's 9, sorry, racks of ribs split into half racks. But still, I could probably fit 11 or 12 on there if I played a little Tetris. But anyway, when I was talking to Matty McGrills out of Vintage Stove, we were just discussing about right now, when I use my big offset smoker, I have to burn a bunch of wood and I'm not always cooking crazy amounts of meat. So I kind of needed to find a nice happy medium where I had a little more cooking space, but it was a little more affordable. And that's where the conversation of me using a Traeger Woodridge Pro came up. These pellet smokers run on pellets. That is a much more affordable fuel source for barbecue than lumber. Unless you have a backyard with a bunch of woods, which I do not. By the way, those ribs look absolutely delicious. But the wood-fired option really kind of brought me in. And what I mean by that is with a Traeger, they have different technology than regular pellet smokers. Their ovens apparently have they call it a wood-fired oven, meaning you can cook more than just meat on it, like desserts, vegetables. It works beautifully. And you'll see a couple clips here. I have some stuff. Well, this pork tenderloin is actually stuffed with some sun-dried peppers, I think, feta and spinach, I think was that recipe. But the point I'm getting to is, it has more options than just meat, including desserts. And you'll see here shortly, I've done apple crisp on it, peanut butter blondies with fluff. Guys, there's so many cool things you can do with this that you can't with just a regular pellet smoker. Obviously, with a regular pellet smoker, like a Pit Boss or a Rec Tech, you can still cook on it, but I don't know, it just kind of leaves a little more dirty smoke running over stuff. So I don't know. After the discussion and after trying some food on a Traeger, I made the jump. Now, the price point is $14.99 at the time of recording this, and that's Canadian. I think it's $13.99 in the United States. But, you might be able to find it on sale for something like $12.99 or $13.99 here in Canada. And if you do and are thinking about it, 1000%, I think you should make that jump. This has seriously given me an upgrade that I wasn't even expecting. It even has a mobile app that I can stay inside. If it's raining, I can check the temps, whether it's on the thermometers or the actual oven itself. If I want to know how much capacity of the pellets is remaining, I can check that remotely. Guys, it's super simple. It just connects to your Wi-Fi and boom, there you go. Bob's your uncle. And seriously, it's really just made things smoking in my backyard way easier. And that's not a bad thing. You can still go out there, tend to it, check it out regularly, but it also just, has so many extra features to let you go about your day while you smoke low and slow meat. And I think that's a huge win when you're in your backyard grilling. If you're one of those guys that wants to sit at a stick burner, then by all means, get yourself a stick burner. I am that guy too. I love my offset smoker, but this pellet smoker is basically the next best thing in my mind. Still gets wood. You get that smoke, that distinct flavor. It's great for building bark, whether it's on a pork shoulder, on brisket, on ribs. Guys, I'm into it. I highly recommend making this purchase. And if you're not requiring every single feature, like the pellet sensor, messaging you via the mobile app on when you need to go refill pellets, or super smoke mode, which I'll talk about in a split second, then you can totally just get a Traeger Woodridge, not the Pro. But what is super smoke? So under 225 degrees, you can turn on what's called super smoke here. And there's a good shot of it. It really pours that smoky flavor all over whatever you're smoking. It really focuses on getting extra blue smoke in there, and blue meaning clean smoke, which really adds to that bark, builds texture, builds delicious flavor. And this bologna chub seriously was getting hit with tons of smoke. It came out beautiful. I don't know if you've ever tried smoking a bologna chub before. This cost me $9 and it turned out magnificent. I highly recommend you give it a shot if you ever have the chance. But anyway, let's get back to talk about the grill. So loading in pellets. It has a side pellet hopper and it can hold like a bag and some. You can go to bed overnight with a Woodridge Pro, smoking a brisket without any concern of running out of pellets. And honestly, if you are concerned, well, you can set up the mobile app to just notify you. It's actually really funny. Oh man, competition barbecue. It works for that too, and that's a huge win when it comes to grilling, in my opinion. You might just be a backyard enthusiast, and that is great. I strongly support it. But if you're interested in trying something like the KCBS route, or just any type of grilling competition, you can totally use this barbecue and go into one of those competitions. I myself have done it, and it's worked out great. I'm not exaggerating, guys. Low and slow is the name of the game on this grill. Man, it can go hot and fast too. It can go up to 500 degrees. You can reverse sear steaks on this thing. It's got so many wicked features that I strongly recommend you learn about. But like I was saying before, if you are interested in a Traeger Woodridge Pro, I personally am glad I made the jump. I think this grill is fantastic. I'm really happy with the results so far, and I think you will be too. If you're a backyard enthusiast like me, you get pumped up on grilling, then man, oh man, this is one I think you should check out sooner rather than later. At the time of recording this, it's like the 9th of June, 2026, and like, guys, this grill is just kicking butt right now. If you're thinking of getting this, definitely check this out. I mean, here in the video, you can see how many pellets it holds. You can set this up. When I started pouring this bag in, there was already half another bag in there. So the capacity it holds is pretty wicked. And that's another thing too. You can use so many different types of pellets to add different types of flavor to your food with this grill. Oh man, oh man. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I do think it is a little bit higher of a price point, but if you are able to afford it, I think you will be happy with the purchase. If you can wait and find it on sale, that's an even better outcome. Still delicious, scrumptious, 10 out of 10. Whether it's brisket, ribs, pork shoulder, delicious desserts like apple crisp, or peanut butter blondies. Oh man, you're going to be so thrilled with everything to do with this. You'll be able to cook for the whole neighborhood. Anyway, you guys know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Make sure you're liked and subscribed. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and you know what's up. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care and stay safe. In this video, I'm going to talk about butchering your own pork loin and how cheap and efficient it is on saving money, and awesome for barbecue, by the way. I mean, look at this little pinwheel that I put together. That was so scrumptious. This pork chop was immaculate as well. Guys, it's easy to buy one of these big pork loins and break it down into multiple cuts. Okay, let's start from the beginning though, because this is really straightforward. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, hit those buttons. So I paid $24 for this pork loin. I broke it down into 4 pork chops, 2 cutlets, some stir fry meat, 4 country style ribs, and then basically a roast that I'm going to call it my version of butterflying, because I'm not a professional chef and I probably didn't actually butterfly this. But the point I'm getting to is it's perfect for stuffing. Guys, All of this is straightforward. I'm going to show you exactly how I did it step by step. Let's start off. Remove it from the package. This pork loin was purchased from Sobeys, my local grocery store, for $24. That is a very good price point considering how much meat you're getting here. Now, on this side, you'll see there's a lot of silver skin. So I went through and I tried to remove, a good portion of it. There's nothing too crazy here. It's perfectly fine if you do leave on some of the silver skin, but it definitely helps if you trim that down. So that's exactly what I did. Try your hardest as you're trimming down silver skin to just kind of keep your knife pointed upwards so you don't go down into the meat. Now, starting over on whichever side doesn't look the best, I'm going to slice off 4 portions, just like a pork chop, nothing complicated. The idea of starting on the far side is that, well, it's usually a little not as good looking as the center. And what we're going to do is we're going to make country style ribs. So as you saw what I did right there, I started at the center and sliced all the way to the exterior, opening it up. And kind of the idea is it's long and straight like a rib. Now, you can throw this right onto your grill and just cook it like it's a pork chop still, but the idea is, it's just a cooler way to enjoy a pork chop. So we'll start with that. It's awesome. Secondly, we're going to slice off just this nice big round roast. And you can really see how lean this pork is. All right, so we're going to take our knife and we're going to do my version of butterflying. I cut a nice slit all the way in, then I go back and just open it up. That's what's really important here. Let the knife do the work. Hopefully you have a nice sharp knife. That's really important, guys. And what you can do with this is basically throw some barbecue dry rub on it. You could do it nice and lean, just laying out like that, but I like to roll it up just like this with some stuff on the inside. Like you could put cranberries in there. I personally did sun-dried tomatoes, feta, and spinach, but oh man, the list goes on. This is so delicious. Then I cut myself a couple thin pork chops, as you can see here, and I'm just slicing them, portioning them down into little, smaller size, bite-sized chunks. And that's going to be perfect for whatever kind of stir fry I want to whip up. I'm telling you guys, pretty slick. Then we're going to continue slicing out 2 more pork chops. They're not too bad, about an inch thick or so. Then we're going to use our meat mallet. We're making cutlets here, okay? So you're going to take them and just tenderize them down with the flat side of the meat mallet. You want to make sure you just use some parchment paper. It's just saves you some time and energy from not having to clean up as much. And there you go, nice and flattened down. This is perfect to coat with some breadcrumbs and seasoning and then throw it in some oil and pan fry it. Guys, it's not that complicated. We got this little chunk left and we're just going to, 2 finger size portions, slice out some nice, thick, juicy looking pork chops. Man, oh man, I'm super stoked that I ended up buying this pork loin. I mean, check out all these cuts that I have prepped now for only $24. I mean, that's a serious pork chop right there. And I just got 4 of them. I am stoked. Man, look at these chunky bad boys. That's what it's all about, dude. And these 2 pork cutlets, those are going to be fantastic. Pan fried with a little bit of oil. Stir fries as well. I really enjoy stir fry. We can make some sweet and sour pork with a little bit of veggies over some rice. Man, oh man, delicious. Country style pork ribs. I mean, I've mentioned it once or twice here, and they are just incredible. A must try for sure. Dude, on a charcoal grill, these come through with so much flavor. Oh, dude, I can't get enough. And then there's that roast that we butterflied, or well, my version of butterflying open. You could stuff this with whatever you'd like, and just trust me when I say it is incredible. I mean, here, I'll flip over to that sun-dried tomato feta spinach stuffed version of it. I smoked this on my Traeger. Oh, dude, it was so juicy, tender, and delicious. Seriously, unreal. Look at this bad boy. Juicy and just filled with flavor. You can see there's a little bit of pink around the edges from that smoke on the Traeger. 10 out of 10. And then this pork chop I grilled up on my charcoal grill with some barbecue seasoning and sauce to tack on towards the end. Guys, this was just incredible. juicy, and just perfect. And that's what it's all about. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you're liked and subscribed. I'm always putting out simple recipe videos about barbecue that you're really going to enjoy. And guys, don't be afraid. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Comment below what you like the most about pork. And until next time, thanks again for watching. Stay safe.